I like it. I like it. Whoa, oh, Super Sam Johnson in goal. Clean sheet at the Theatre of Dreams.
Yeah.
Yes, you ain't dreaming. It actually happened. 1-0
Our
win
theater of dreams.
after the cup game defeat. We are back. I expected a reaction. I predicted a 1-1 draw, and I'm thankful that I lost that prediction because we done even better than what I predicted. 1-0 win at Old
100%.
Trafford. Are you not entertained? What a win for Palace. The lines are open where you can call into the show to have your say on the game. What a finish by Joachim Andersen as well. There's a lot to talk about. Gyro comes on the pitch, doesn't look out of place once again. Defensively, very solid as expected. The core will Hughes, everyone. Round of an applause to the whole team because that is exactly what was looking for. A reaction.
Loved every minute of
got that at Old Trafford. T, talk to me. Are you not happy?
Am I not happy? I'm ecstatic, my brother. I mean, to go into the Theater of Dreams and make it a nightmare for everybody that's a Man United fan, I'll take that, man. I will take it.
They thought they were back after beating us in the cup. That's what I'm saying. Complacency was going to be a thing. It was. We made it way easier. In the previous game, in the cup game, Jordan Ayew tracking back, he was not doing that. And that's what Jordan Ayew does. There's small things that was off for Palace. And in this game, I expected things to go back to normal defensively. We done that. They couldn't break us down. And let's be honest, yes, they did have one or two chances, but they didn't really have that many moments. They didn't.
No,
it's not like they had possession.
I feel like their best moment. What would you say was their best moment as far as shots on goal?
I don't even know.
Maybe the header by Haaland. That was that double save that happened pretty quickly.
They had like 5-minute spell. Maybe their best moment was nearly us scoring our own goal. That pretty much sums it up. Do you get it? That sums it up. But you have to give credit to the players. You have to. So T, look, going into this game, of course, a lot of people predicted a defeat. I did, funny enough, optimistically think we would get maybe a draw.
I was one of them. Let me be the first to say I was one that predicted a defeat. I did.
Yeah, but I'm not blaming you for it. A lot of people did. I'm right.
If I'm going to be wrong, let it be wrong. Well, let's get 3 points.
You did say that. Okay. You did say that on the preview as well. You predicted it, and I understand 100% why everyone predicted a defeat. But I was expecting a reaction, and T, we got that today. What a performance! But for you, how would you sum up that 90 minutes of football? First half, that brilliant finish from Joachim Andersen. We kept them pretty much quiet, and in the second half, they tried to push, but they couldn't break us down.
I think we were pretty resolute. We really stuck to our guns as far as the game plan. They did a great job of sticking to the game plan, executing it. I mean, and if you think about it, it could have been the fact that we had a more solidified starting 11 than we did the first time around earlier this week. You had guys that really, veteran guys that understand the assignment, that know what to do in order to reach the goal. I mean, it could have been that. I mean, but I think we just did a really good job of sticking to it, man. And and we had other opportunities, man. It could have been more than just the one goal. You know what I mean? So, God, just proud of us. Once again, Sam Johnston made some big saves, some really important saves for us to give us the chance. I mean, how big is it for him to go back to Man United, your former club, which he never made a first-team appearance for, and not only beat them, but clean sheet them.
Biggest middle finger. Biggest middle finger that you can give.
The hugest, bro. The hugest.
It was amazing, man. It was amazing. I love it. I don't even have gravy, but the way to describe that game, it's like eating gravy off someone's head. It was nasty.
Eating gravy off someone's head.
It was still probably tastes delicious. We still got the result done. They had all the ball, but I don't know how to describe it. That's the only way I can describe it right now. Send in your comments, and also the lines are open, so you can call into the show by clicking on the pinned comment to join us live to have your say on the game and more. I'll go through some of the comments. Pierre says we genuinely have one of the top 5 centre-back pairings in the league. T, I mean, today, Joachim Andersen, of course, he scored a fantastic goal, but Mark Gay and Anderson, they did not allow any space through the central areas for Man United players. Fantastic once again.
I mean, the thing about it is, like, it's always been the kind of that debatable piece. Hey, we might have one of the best defensive pairings in this in center back outside the top 6, top 7. But man, like somebody, I mean, we just went against a team that some people consider to be in that top 6, top 7, and ours look better. Period. I mean, now granted they had an injury or two with them, but I mean, when you look at the rest of the Premier League and who they've got starting in their center back areas, there's not many teams I'm gonna say are better than ours, if not equal to ours. So I mean, I fully agree with that statement. I don't think it's a misnomer at this point.
Yeah. Now let's bring on the first guest. AJ, how you doing? How you doing? You're not really a guest, are you? But you are here right now, making an appearance. Of course, if we would have lost this game, you think AJ would be here? 100% no. 100% no. But here he is, isn't it? Here he is. Appearing when the win happened. What are you saying, bro? 1-0
Since
win.
we won,
yeah.
I've risen from the shadows.
But your prediction ahead of the game, I'll read it out as well. Was a 3-1 defeat or was it 2-1? Let me just bring it up right now.
I think it was 2. I think it was 2-1.
Yo.
I think it was 2-1 because we both went 2-1.
I will
2-1
happily,
defeat, AJ. 2-1 defeat.
I will happily finish bottom of this prediction league if we're pulling off results like that. You think I care?
Fact.
Do you
Big
think I
fact.
care?
Big fact.
I will sit there with the smartest look on my face and be like, "Oh no, we're in the top 6. Who cares?" Like, I don't care, bro.
What's more important, the top 6 or bottom of the prediction league? Make your priorities right.
Listen.
Get your predictions right,
Listen.
bro. Get your predictions
The palace is what matters, boys. Don't worry about it. Listen, man. Good eye. That was a proper defensive performance. We just took that little. It was so much of a good defensive performance that our defender came up and scored a banger. Like, what's going on?
That was a poacher's goal, man. Like that was like there was nothing any goalkeeper could ever do about that shot.
That was a very good defensive performance. Like every couple of minutes, I was sitting there like, like I was just waiting for Man United to come in and just do something. But you know what? Fair play, barring maybe 1 or 2 players off the top of my head. I was very happy with that performance, man.
We'll talk about
that. It was good.
After. Yeah, I think
we'll talk about that later
as well. We'll talk about the one play after, but I want to talk about the defensive performance because not only was it very good in terms of structure, but I thought individuals done well as well, AJ. Yeah. But for you, what was it about this defensive performance compared to the cup game that we managed to keep a clean sheet? Because that cup game,
let's be honest, it was a better defense, isn't it? So our 2 key centre backs. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we can't let them leave. I don't care what the numbers are, man, because it was like night and day performance-wise. It just essentially looked like from our defence was set, the rest of the team could just go on and do what they needed to do. Because hand on heart, everyone did their job today. Like it was a good performance. Like, you can kind of pick out holes in little things, but Man United just couldn't score. Like they just looked like they couldn't score. They threw everything at us, and we just were ready at all time.
I mean, that was odd decision, but even Maguire came on. Like they tried everything. They tried centre halves. They tried attackers, and Palace was very very tight. They didn't let. That's what she said. They didn't let him in. And yeah, it was fantastic defensively. But I want to talk about Tyrick Mitchell in this game as well as Joe Ward as well, because I thought both of the fullbacks was very good. Mitchell played in the cup game as well, but today, you know what it is? When one player shifted forward, you'll see another player drop in. The connection between all of them, whilst not even having that much work pre-game, as Roy said, it was fantastic. Even Mitchell today, he was on it.
Solid.
On it.
I don't know. Maybe Hodgson brought him back to the ends and just had that roadman speech ready and just said, "Hey, listen, I'm not traveling up to Manchester to get sparked out again, bro. That is long." Like he must have just pulled man aside, put the arm right. The coffee chat in the professional world, right? When you have a coffee chat with somebody and you kind of just put your arm around their shoulder and just make them know, listen, whatever just happened before, that can't run again, Like I don't know, man.
Can't happen again.
Yeah, he must have been like, man, I'm 70 odd years old. I'm traveling up to Manchester twice in 1 week. We'll make it worth my while. Otherwise, you man are doing laps.
I think there was that general feeling that he did get into the place because He also spoke about it after the game. Well, he personally sent a message to all the United fans that travelled in the cup game, Hodgson. I thought that was a great gesture. The fact that he didn't have to do that. He didn't email them, the club did, but he had a message written which got sent to all the fans. And adding up made me think, like, genuinely, I'm not saying this because we won the game. I done a preview with T. That made me think that we could get a potential reaction. Like, that cup game, in a way, could set us up nicely because I thought Man United could get a bit complacent. They could use the same tactical approach. I knew that we would change it about in terms of personnel. We'll get better defensively. As a question of what happens next. And also, AJ, not only defensively, but going forward, in the second half, we did have one or two opportunities that Eze could have put maybe like the likes of JP in behind and create better opportunities as well. So despite us being, very good defensively in attack, we had one or two spells as well where we could have maybe nicked a goal or two. And there was a penalty shot as well towards the end with Amrabat.
Well, there was that one, and there was one that we kind of got away with a bit with Joe Ward. I saw that. He kind of flicked the back of his hand.
I don't think we got away with it. I have to disagree.
I think it was a penalty, hand on heart.
How is that a penalty if it's not facing the ball?
According to the new rules, even in accidental scenarios, if your hands are in an unnatural position, they can be awarded a penalty very easily.
Yeah, but
did they then deem that was a natural position? Like it wasn't like
I don't even know. Like they showed the replay. Well, they showed a replay, but I didn't see it kind of go to VAR or anything like that. But
I mean, it looked like it was just
right to the point.
He wasn't tucking it, but it was like at his side.
Whatever it takes to get the win, boys, that's what that matters. So, I mean, whether it's a penalty or not, that's neither here or there. Not we can do it by now.
You know what?
And that's finally it's to our advantage. Maybe Man United didn't pay off the referees enough. I don't know.
Well, I think they're saying the same thing about us. I think.
We went up there and paid them off.
Hey, I don't think we got the funds for that. Trust me. All the Palace fans will know. I don't think we got funds to pay off referees.
We spent that all on Dean Henderson, boys. Don't worry about it.
We spent all our budget already. So yeah, look, the most impressive thing I think during the spell to the October international break is we need to get results. This is like survival mode, and there's encouraging spells in terms of when you look at our attack is not the strongest. Even Edouard is not playing. We have Elise still to come back, Franca, which will be another depth option. But I thought when Jairo came on, he looked decent. And I think that was the one negative, if you want to say it, because I don't know if it was you or T that talked about one or two players that didn't have a great game. And I think you're referring to maybe Schlupp. But Jairo coming on, he was good. Playing out wide a bit.
He looked good.
He didn't look out of place.
He was great on Tuesday as well. It's got to be said. He's considering what the kind of weird role that he has at the club and in the squad. When he does come on, he does play solid. Can't be mad.
He does. So AJ, quickly, Forest game. Talk to me. Got a win here. Got a draw against Fulham as well. I think the draw against Fulham is now more respectable, I guess, because 4 points in his last 2 games. I think we would have took that. Forest, are you now hopeful that we could carry this on at home? Because our home form hasn't been bad, but we need to try and get that win, right? If we want to push up the table and have something exciting.
It would be nice. I think I'm going to have to copy your philosophy on this one, bruv. I think I'm just taking it a game at a time. As it stands right now, I'm looking at the league table. What is it? 7 games in. We're 9th. We're above United, Chelsea. We got decent points on the board. Positive start. Obviously, the cup didn't go our way. But Forest is definitely an achievable 3 points for us. So, bring it on, man. We will be there.
We will be there. Look, AJ, thanks for coming on, bro. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Hopefully, we'll catch you up on the preview this week because we won the game.
Appreciate it, bro.
I'll be back.
All right. See you later. Take care, bro. That was AJ having to say, if you want to call into the show, make sure to click on the pinned comment. Let's bring on our next guest of the evening, I guess, depending on where you are, but over here is pretty much evening. Felix, 1-0 Palace win at Old Trafford, the fit of dreams. We're not dreaming. It happened.
That's it. You know what? We worked hard today. We did what we needed to do. We stayed in our lane. And what I loved is every single player stayed in their lane and they showed dominance. Look at Mitchell. Destroyed Casemiro. Anyone on that left flank. Destroyed them. Ayew working his socks off. Everyone contributed in their own role. And that's what was beautiful about today. We grinded out the 1-0 victory. And you know what? It's a positive start to the season, but we got to take it one thing at a time.
Yeah, literally one game at a time. That's my mentality as well. And we got this win. I mean, I would have been over the moon with a draw. And yeah, look, Felix, what do you think it was then from the cup game to this game? Is it just talent, or did you see a change in structure? Because I thought our tracking back was a lot better. Our structure was amazing today, and you have to give credit to the manager for that and the coaching staff around it. If they try to take our players out of position, but every time a player went out of position, such as Joachim Andersen or Gahey or even Mitchell, there'll be another player to slot in them gaps, and they didn't really create that many chances against us, even though they kept a lot of possession.
No, I think it was purely tactical because I know Roy Hodgson, he's a lot of experience as a manager. He knows this is a long season. It's a long game, So I think the first game was an absolute write-off. Stretch your legs, get some players who haven't played yet. And, I don't say you want to concede the defeat, but you want to see what you have on the bench. And that was one of those games where you could throw those people out there. Was it a cup game? Unfortunately, but our focus is on the main season with the Premiership. And you know what? This is why we did what we did. We brought Yairo on. I thought he did fantastic. He just comes in and just drops some he drops a mic and he leaves. Yeah. Every time I see this guy play, he drops a mic and he leaves, and he's like, "I'll see you in 2 weeks. Call me if you need me."
Or 2 months or 3 months, depending on however long it gets. But look, jokes aside, do you think Jairo should get more involvement now based on the last 2 games against United? He has looked in place.
This question bothered me for a long time. Look at this guy's background. He's an Ajax product. There's a lot of hype around him. Frank de Boer picked him out as his boy. Like, this guy's going to be the guy. And, he just exists. He has the talent. I think it might be a motivation thing, but it's definitely not a talent thing. If it was a talent thing, they would have left him, right? I know that he has a lot of involvement with the first team and the youth academy. And maybe it's something, something else different that he is in Crystal Palace. But whenever he comes on and you ask him to step up, he does.
Yeah, it does 100%.
I feel like a big part of that is just poise too. Like, we're talking about a guy who's played multiple matches in the championship. Playing in Champions League. Like, he's extremely experienced. He's poised. Like,
I think you have to go, Felix. Well, sorry to go, Felix. You have to go. I can hear the phone ringing. I think he's already off.
He might have had
to. Yeah.
But I was saying, the thing about Jairo, I think the reason why he's able to do what he does and come in and play well even after long stretches is because Jairo's ability and his what he brings isn't based on like dynamism. It's not based on athleticism. Like, he's just a very poised, composed, like clean and tactical player. So it's like when he's coming in, he's gonna be able to perform up to the level he needs to be at every time, because he can think the game just as well as he can play it.
Yeah. Look, this was my point in the cup game as well. I went on a little rant in that game after that result, because I think the 3-0 defeat just annoyed me to bits due to I think today is a point proven due to me seeing United so far this season and them not being that good. And we gave them so much respect. But the cup is over. But it's good to see that Roy actually, tried to change it up there. And in terms of attack, Errol says, I think there was a change in attitude from the manager down. And there was a comment from Shane as well that I want to bring up, saying once Roy thinks we have enough points to be safe, he'll be more open and attack-minded with tactics. I was watching this. Whilst watching the game play today, I was thinking, what if we had Elise on the pitch? I don't even think it's a case of Roy will change up to be more attack-minded. I think on the counter, we'll just naturally be better with better attackers. If we can keep our defensive shape as it is, which has been very solid so far this season, you can see it in attack. Mateta, Eze, Eze had a decent game today, but he could have put Mateta through one or two times.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But let's say instead of Schlupp, that was Elise on the pitch, for example. I think we're way more dangerous, and that's when the goals should be coming in. And if you can hold your defensive structure as it is whilst bringing in them attackers, which I think we can do because we showed it under Roy in the last 10 games, then that's where things get interesting. Right now, so far this season, yes, we have got these wins and picked up points here and there, but we still haven't. We lost Zaha, and on top of that, we still haven't got Elisa on the pitch. We haven't got Lerma. Lerma's been fantastic for us. Today, we didn't have Lerma. Will Hughes came out on the pitch. Fantastic performance. Very solid. Defensively, excellent. Honestly, top notch. I was watching him all game long, and he was shifting. He was going left, right, center, pressing. Know when to press. Know when not to press. Great. And we still have injuries. So once these players come back after the October international break, which is very soon, so we got the Forest game, that's when we should be cooking, especially in attack. I don't expect the defense to change, but I expect us to create way more chances, score more goals. That's when things will get interesting. But if you want to call into the show, click on the pinned comment to join us live. I'll be reading through some of the comments. Let's bring on Patrick next. Patrick, what a win at Old Trafford, 1-0. Talk to me.
Roy masterclass. He built a big, great wall of Roy in front of United's goal. In front of our own goal. And we had a back five, like 3 holding midfielders, 4 center backs. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. I mean, and they didn't know how to decipher, break through anything. They are a bad team. You should see Goldbridge going crazy right now. I never said we would lose. Yeah, whatever, dude. I didn't catch a lot of the game because of the feed, so I had to listen to it through the phone. Plus, I don't have really a lot to say. Just Roy. This is why we need Roy. This is why this is here. When you got no players coming in, when you got everybody banged up, any chance of an attacking outlet on the bit can't come in. This is it. And he's now become the only manager to go to Old Trafford the last 5 times and win, not give up a goal. Some crazy stat I listened to today.
Yeah,
that's
unbeaten.
That's
unbeaten in the last 5 games.
Unbeaten. Yeah, last 5.
Yeah. That's insane. I mean, and all the criticism Roy does get from people. I'm sorry. This is if he's not manager in there, we don't win today. And that's my opinion, because with these players, they're limited in what they can do. The ones that are playing. Anderson's goal. We need to. You made a joke last year. Yeah, put that dude in the midfield, man, because he just with him on that ball. He's our best offensive player right now. What's he got? 2 goals?
2.
Yeah,
2.
He has more goals in the league than Mateta, who, by the way, ran his socks off today.
Yeah, he did. He tried to cause them problems, and at times he was isolated, but I thought he still done a relatively good job trying to cause problems to the Man United defense. And there's a comment from Elegy here. I think this is what Anderson said post-match. We'll read out some of the quotes in a few seconds' time as well. In a few minutes, not seconds. Elegy said, Anderson mentioned in post-interview that spirit won us the game. What do you guys think about that? So in terms of this game comparison to the Cup game, Patrick, what do you think it was? Was it a spirit? Was it just that wanting to react?
I just think it's the wanting to react. They embarrassed themselves. I mean, the only player that showed up on Tuesday was Rydwell to me. And look and Roy wasn't happy. What happens few days later? You put that defensive performance in. Yeah, is it pretty to watch? Hell no. It's like taking a fat chick to the prom. But guess what? At the end of the night, you're happy, and we got the 1-0 win, and I'm happy. It's not pretty to watch, but that's all what this spine of this club has always been about, right? Spirit. That's what Roy always talks about. Look how he lifted the players last year. Just the spirit of what he did at the end of the season. This is absolutely 100% playing for the manager and themselves and the traveling fans who were pretty good. I heard them right through my phone listening to it on the audio stream. Just terrific. Just terrific. No complaints.
Patrick, just quickly before you go for the Forest game, look, we got this win, got a draw against Fulham. Now in that game, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking that we should get a win? Is a draw enough? What's your approach after this one?
You're asking too much for a win, and I know that's crazy because it's Forest and they don't the defense, whatever. They got a lot of young guys that have a ton of pace. That striker, the big man, I didn't think was going to be any good. The guy scores goals for fun now.
Oni.
Yeah. I thought he was a scrub. I mean, really, the beginning of last year, then something clicked and he got on fire. And you got Calvin Hudson-Odoi and Halanga, and they don't even. That's going to be a tough one. Not because they're better than us. I just think it's a tough matchup because of our health right now. You know, right now we don't have no bench. Our bench is playing. But at home with the crowd, I can see a draw. If we had just a couple more healthy bodies that could come off that bench and play, I think we can win that game. But to me, that's just going to be tough. But you know what? This is what I know. We all thought we'd lose today. So we get behind the club, but I think a draw would be a good result because of the health of the club right now. I don't want to get over crazy with it. Fulham should have been the win. But I think Forest, I think getting a draw, getting one more point, I know it's cliche, but get that, respect the points, Big Sam used to say. Get the point, go into international break, and for God's sake, get healthy.
100%. Look, Patrick, thank you for calling into the show. Always a pleasure talking
Take care,
to you, and
guys.
hopefully we do get
Absolutely,
more than a
man.
point.
Appreciate it, Patrick.
Happy as we are today. Look, thank you for
Up
calling
the
in.
pals.
Take care. Up the
Up the
Palace,
Palace.
Patrick. That's Patrick having his say. If you're enjoying the show and if you're new here, like and subscribe, people. We're very close to 4,000 subscribers. Less than, I think, 80 away. So if every one of you can subscribe, share the video, that'll be much appreciated. Let's bring on Tim next. Tim, what a win. What a win. That's what we're talking about.
Come on.
That's
Let's
the reaction
go.
that we wanted. That is the reaction that we wanted. 1-0.
I mean,
There it is.
Talk to me, Tim. What did you make of it?
I loved it. I loved it. And I'm here for Patrick's Roy glasses every week. Bring it on. Let's go. No, I loved it. And so what I said, I posted this. I don't know if you would have seen this in the UK, D, but so for those of us in the US that watch ESPN FC from time to time, Palace never shows up. But when they do show up,
Never.
they never show up. But did you see this, T? Like last night, Stevie Nichols said, I'm gonna predict a draw because you never see a team go back to back and lose 2 in a row. So he wasn't really making a statement about Palace so much as he was making a statement about like history. So then I posted, and it was just as usual, it's just a boatload of United fans like, oh, he's Liverpool, whatever. And I just said, look, here's what I'm looking for. I want to see a reaction, and I want United. I wanted them to make it miserable for the opposition. I wanted United to hate playing this game. Like, just hate it. Hate every bit about it and see if you could get something out of it. And that's what we got, baby. That's exactly
100%.
what we got.
100%.
100%. We made it difficult for them. Made it very difficult. Patrick, you have to not Patrick, sorry. Tim, you have to give credit to the defense for that. Because honestly,
Absolutely.
it was fantastic. The structure, the individuals. I thought Mitchell, Wardy done a relatively good job against Rashford. I mean, he had to switch sides, and Garnacho went there when he came on, and he still didn't do much. But overall, Decore, Hughes, as a team,
Right.
we put our bodies on the line, blocking shots. It reminds me in a way of the Villa game where we lost that, but we were so good for like 90 minutes or so. Then that penalty decision basically cost us the game. We should have got something at least out of that game. And today, they were fighting for the badge. That's what you want to see. Fight for the badge. And we got that.
Absolutely. But the point you just made there, I don't want to lose that, D, because it wasn't just Wardy. Did you notice that? So United was getting down. They were trying. They really were targeting Wardy. They were going down. I mean, just hitting down the left and trying to get Rashford free. And it wasn't just Wardy. Every time you get 2 people up on Rashford, the minute he starts coming into the box. Sometimes, I mean, whoever it is, a lot of times it was Anderson coming in on him. And it was great. It was great to see. Gave him no space whatsoever. And on the right side, did the same thing. I saw Yuzi down there a lot, like causing a lot of problems. So no matter what, when United was attacking down those channels, down the wings, we didn't give him any space. And we didn't give him any space through the middle. And that is team defending. That's team defending. That was outstanding. I loved that, D. I loved every second of that, because if you're going to play a game where you know that you are outclassed on quality, which we knew we were. Like, we had so many players out. Guts, effort, and organization can get you far, and had all 3 of those things. It was amazing. The other thing I wanted to say here, and I know this is so cheap of me, but I mean, look, I'm a Palace fan, so I may as well, like, if I'm gonna go with the Schadenfreude, I'm kind of liking that Jordan Ayew absolutely got one over. He pantsed Amrabat. He pantsed him. He absolutely pantsed him.
He said, welcome to the Premier League.
Yes, exactly. After that performance and how cocky he was and these patent jests on the head, I was so happy. To see Ayew do him the way he did. He just drew him into a bazillion fouls. By the way, has that guy met a handball he doesn't love? How many handballs did Amrabat have?
I don't know.
That one
man.
at the end, I'm surprised that they didn't even think to review. Like that one at the end was like very like I felt like that was the most convincing one.
Well, I think the most controversial thing was that Casemiro was on the pitch. The amount of fouls that he had.
Should have got a red
Yeah.
card.
He should have
been out.
Yep.
That second yellow.
Yep.
I mean, that was a crap call. I mean, that was another homer call. He should have been gone. Should have been 10 minutes left and United playing with 10 men. No chance. There's no way that's not a yellow. He should have been gone. Yeah, you're right, T. I mean, that was ridiculous. Casemiro ending the game was a gift to United.
Yeah, 100%. So, Tim, look, we got a point against United. 3 points, not a point.
Yeah.
I would have been happy with a point, but we got more than that. We got a point against Fulham as well. Now, looking ahead to the Forest game, of course, we're still waiting for players to come back from injuries. Patrick, before you joined us, said that he'll be happy with a draw. You think a win would be hard against Forest, but what's your mentality now going into that game?
Well, I think you try to win. You do try to win, but Patrick's not wrong here. You set up to be as defensively solid as you can be, but you noticed, like, we can be defensively solid and play the 4-2-3-1. That was I didn't expect that, but you could be. You don't have to set up with a back three, back five. You can be defensively solid and play the counter on a 4-2-3-1. So great. Let's do that. I still prefer that we don't play Jeffrey Schlupp in that position. I got to tell you, if you can't play Jess, which I understand, he didn't look great in the cup. So maybe you can't, if you are going to play somebody centrally and it's not Jeffrey Schlupp, I mean, if he's fit, could you put Gyro there? Because Gyro is making a statement. He's making a statement, and he's a progressive player. I like him a lot.
It seemed like when they brought Gyro in, they kind of went to a 4-4-1-1, and Gyro was kind of like a wide, a left midfielder, kind of, and that works because he's left-footed.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that we can see ourselves doing? Because then, I mean, he's defensively solid. He's a great passer. You still have the ability to have a guy like Eze.
He's got a little pace too.
Outlet. Yeah. I mean,
yeah. We'll see. I think he might have more appearances coming off the bench, but I don't realistically see him starting.
Probably not.
In this game. But yeah, look, Tim, thank you for calling into the show. Always a pleasure.
Do you want to talk at all about the Texter IPO, or you want to save that?
You can mention it. You can mention it.
Yeah.
I mean, so for those who saw it in the Financial Times, that Leon wants to raise 300 million. So here's the headline on it, D, and we'll just move on. And if you want to talk more about it another time, we can do that. I think it's interesting. It might be a good thing. Texter needs to raise money. We know he needs to raise money. So if he does go to the IPO market with Eagle Football, in the past, he's done things by merging with other companies. That's how he got his original fortune, merging FaceBank into Fubo TV. And we're not going to do it through the SPAC. The SPAC said, that's it. We're done. We're not doing anything with Eagle Football anymore. So it'd have to be a traditional IPO. Let's see. I think it would be interesting, depending upon how much money they raise. If Texter's able to raise enough money, that could be some additional capital for Palace. But there's a lot to be determined here. I would like to see it be a traditional IPO so I can read an S1 filing. And it'd be
interesting. We'll have time to talk about. Texter.
Yeah. But this was great, man.
This is a great win. Because the ownership conversation. I mean, we done it after United game, and we went on for like 45 minutes. So today there's a lot of players to talk about as well. But look, Tim, great information there as well. And if more comes out, 100% we'll bring you on to talk about the ownership in more detail. But look, up the Palace, and hopefully you catch up with
Palace, man. This is awesome. And suck it, Brighton, getting skilled 6-1. Let me hang on. Let me take a.
All right, let's see you later. It makes it even better. I mean, 6-1. Jeez.
Yeah, that was crazy.
The way they
I saw that
team.
I had a double take on that. I'm really surprised to see that, man.
I mean, the way that they talk about Brighton, though, like jokes aside, I mean, league challenges and
Well,
all
their
that.
defense, their
Jeez, get
defense
away
is
with it, man.
terrible.
Jeez.
Like their defense
Yeah.
is bad. They've allowed like 18 goals to start the season. Like,
Anyways, that's their problem. We'll laugh at them another time. But they've been exposed a few times already so far this season. Let's talk about some of the individual players, from the game, because I don't think we'll be doing a player rating. So I think it's worth just talking about them for a bit now as well. Of course, we mentioned a few of them already. But for example, I thought Sam Johnson fantastic, but Gay and Joachim Andersen. Joachim Andersen for me was my man of the match as well. In terms of stats, 10 clearances, 1 goal, 4 out of 5 ground duels won. He was absolutely fantastic today. And when people compare Gay and Anderson, I think both of them complement each other's game fantastically. That if you lose one of them, I think the other one's performance could be impacted by it.
mm-hmm. Absolutely, because I think they give each other a lot of license.
100%. Let's
Let's
bring on the next guest
out.
of the evening. Hopefully he is here. Is he loading up
Henry,
still?
okay.
Is he? Can you see him on the screen? Is he loading up?
It's just loading on mine.
Yeah, just loading. We'll see if we can bring Henry into the show. But if you want to call in, make sure to go through the pin. Click on the pinned comment to join us live. Leave a like and subscribe. Let's go through some of the comments. Rashford. There's debate about Rashford, how he was today. Social said Rashford not rubbish. It just hasn't involved his game today. Teams have the data on him. He will struggle, but he has to keep going and switch up his play style. But I think Palace deserve a lot of credit for that as well. For what we've done, we didn't really allow him to have that many spaces to go in one-on-one situations in the first place. And
we played very physical with him. We were very physical. Like we play. I feel like we played against Rashford the way a lot of teams played against Wilf with us. Except we weren't like just all out fouling him, like being dirty with him. Like Joe Ward was really physical with him. Like he wasn't allowing him to have a lot of space to dribble. He was putting his body on him, letting him know he was there. I mean, I feel like Rashford was on the ground a lot in this match, whether they were fouls or I feel like a lot of teams are going to see what we did against him today, and they're going to try to replicate it in a lot of ways, because similar to what he was saying in that comment, he's going to have to evolve his game. He's going to have to find a way to play through or play around that type of scheme of right backs or wide defenders, because that's one of the things that we did really well against him.
Yeah, which is surprised, by the way, by the Schlupp sub, because we had like a similar situation, you can argue, at Villa away from home, where Schlupp looked absolutely knackered, and we decided to keep him on for 9 minutes. But in this game, we subbed him off for Gyro. I'll be honest, I was surprised. I wanted it to happen, but I was actually surprised by it actually folding. And maybe that's the Roy impact, Roy being on the bench, and we didn't have Roy on the bench.
Pleasantly surprised would be my words there. I was actually happy to see it. I mean, it's just I don't want to jump on him, especially after winning the match. But like, even in a match like this where we do what we need to do, we get an amazing result. Like, out of an entirety of a team that performs so well, he's an eyesore almost out there for me, man. Like, there was one particular instance where we had a great counterattacking chance and a chance to really get forward and go, and he plays this really just unnecessary back pass to the center back. It's like, dude, like, I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised when the sub was made, and I thought it was good to see.
Let's bring on Henry now. Let's try to bring on Henry again. If you want to call into the show, as I said, click on the pinned comment to join us live. Henry,
yes,
there we go.
You was here a few days ago. Get in. You was here a few days ago. We were both upset. We were like, what's going on? We didn't even try, but today you can't blame the efforts, because the efforts were delicious. It was there.
Yeah.
It was there. It was fantastic.
I can't quite believe it. I mean, I didn't actually get to watch the game. I had to follow it on my phone, but I mean, I'm guessing we must have had an absolute blinder to keep Man United out to score in the first half, which we never do. And I've actually seen the goal.
Yeah.
I've seen the goal, and Anderson's banged in an absolute pelter there. I just can't. I'm just so proud of this team to bounce back the way that they did after Wednesday. It's days like this that you're proud to be a Palace fan, and you remember why you're a Palace fan after the embarrassment of Wednesday. But
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to say about Roy Hodgson actually, because I'm actually beginning to sort of question myself when I said that he wasn't the right man to come back in. I'm starting to think maybe I was wrong there, because you look at the starts of the season we've got now: 3 wins, 2 draws, and 2 defeats. I think everyone would have bitten your arm off for that at the start of the season, especially with the injuries that we have at the moment. We can just about field a team, and just to win today it's an absolute. I've literally just gone out for a walk to kind of celebrate the win, and I've seen
Soak it all in.
some guy in Tesco with a Man United shirt looking absolutely miserable. So it just gets better and better.
Yeah. Look, I was on the United stand, and I spoke to Beth for the opposition preview as well, and she did think that it'll be a more difficult game for United. She wasn't complacent about it. Like she said that when I was on their channel earlier on, and she was on our opposition preview as well. It was a great video to talk to her about United so far this season. So, but a lot of United fans, and I'm not getting onto them about it, a lot of them were, I think, a bit like, Palace will beat them. Look what happened. And I get it.
Yeah.
I get it because of what happened on Tuesday. And if I was a United fan, I won't even lie. I might have the same mentality.
Never
but I don't think
underestimate Crystal Palace FC.
Roy Hodgson, Crystal Palace, anyways, 5 games unbeaten at Old Trafford. But I did think going into this game, I said it as well in the match preview, that I was expecting some type of reaction. Because that was not Palace. That wasn't Palace. We're not that bad defensively. We're never that bad defensively. But Henry, even today, when you look at the result, 1-0 win, we still got players to come back. So when you look at our season so far, the only negative, I've said it, before the international break, I gave it 8 out of 10. So start to the season, because I thought the only negative, it would have been a 10 out of 10 if we got something out of the Arsenal game, which was not expected in the first place, but that would have been fantastic. The only downside, the only game that's been bad in terms of results so far this season, apart from the Arsenal game, is Fulham. Maybe I can get a win against Fulham.
Even Fulham now, when you look at it in retrospect, you think we didn't play our best. When you can't win, don't lose. You take the point. And I do not give a flying about last week now, because we've only gone and beaten Man United.
Yeah.
So who cares? Like, if you'd have said at the start of the Fulham game, we're going to draw today, lose in the cup, and then beat United in the league a few days later, I'm sure everyone would have taken it. So
you take it.
I mean,
you
take it all day long. And I think against Forest, we go for the win. I mean, there's no reason not to go for the win, in my opinion. I know I've heard about what people have said about Forest are a dangerous team and we should be careful. Absolutely spot on. We should be careful. I think we should go for the win, but make sure we don't lose. At the end of the day, if we go into the international break, having taken a point off Fulham, 3 points off Man U, and kept it rolling with another point against Forest, I am more than happy with that. More than happy.
Yeah, 100%. Let's see what happens. As always, we'll have the match build up throughout the week as well. But Henry, look, enjoy your walk. Soak it all in. It's a win. And
and by the way, how did our old guys down the south coast get on today?
Jeez, they had to witness 6 goals going past their net. That's all I have to say. 6 goals.
If you got another 6 minutes, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we can walk through all of the goals. But I mean, with them, I've said it time and time again. The amount of people underneath for that team, neutrals anyways, it's unbelievable. They act like they're going to win the league. But look, Henry, thank you. Take care. I know if you catch up with you again next week.
Good stuff.
See you later. That was Henry having his say. If you want to have your say, click on the pinned comment to join us. It's been a fantastic show so far. And Guy can make a very good point. The Villa game wasn't great. Yeah, in terms of result as well, it wasn't great. But if we got something out of that, then that would have changed. So but the Villa game,
we're in a whole nother mind frame if that game goes a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? Like if the Villa match ends up a draw, and we get a point.
Yeah,
from
that would have been
and
fantastic. That's what I
you
wanted.
know what I mean?
That's what I wanted.
Like,
So you are right, guys.
that's really,
Yeah. For me,
that's
T,
really
I
all
don't
it
know about
takes.
you, but so far this season, the Villa game was a disappointment. The Fulham, of course, I wanted a point against Villa, a win against Fulham. So there's been like one or two, but it hasn't been done much. Then again, I didn't expect to win against Manchester United. So it's now trying to kick on. And that's why, look, we're going to do a preview show anyways, talking about the Forest game. But that's why I think the Forest game is important to you. I don't think we should just brush it aside. I know what Patrick said. I know what Tim said as well. But I'm going into this game. If you want to achieve something good, offer a United win. You want to go to
you want to go and win that
at home and try to get that win.
Yeah, because I mean, it's one of those things. Like after such a huge win against a big side away from home, you get those 3 points. What more would you want than the ability to have a home match against a side that's much lower in the table than you?
They're not too far off though.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, but in this situation, like, what more would you want from where we are, or what we're going into? You know what I'm saying? The only thing that we could probably be better with is if we were playing against Burnley or, you know what I'm saying, Sheffield United, like that. Like that's the only thing I could think of that could be any better than the situation that we're walking into. So it's like, why not go for it and try to, like you said, if try to win it, but make sure that you don't lose it. I don't know. I feel like I'm trying to think of the last time we won 2 on the bounce and what that felt like.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. I won't be able to tell you when we lost 1-2 on the. Well, it's not that long ago. It must have been under Hodgson.
I mean,
it was under Hodgson.
It was probably under Hodgson, but like it's been a while. Let's just say that.
Has it been a while? I'm going to look through the results, but I'm pretty sure someone in the chat will know as well. But quickly, before we wrap up, let's go through some of the other players as well. We haven't really spoke about Decore. Decore was great today. He played in a cup game. I don't know. In a cup game, I was a bit 50-50 about his performance. Well, I was about everyone apart from Gyro. But today, he was there, man. He was there. Maybe we could have done a bit better in terms of whilst we had possession of the ball. But then again, even he had 1 or 2 moments like that as well.
Yeah, he was a rock, man. I mean, he did a great job of breaking up play in the middle. Like there were so many times when they just wanted to get something from the middle of the pitch as far as like the top of the box, because we all know Bruno Fernandes loves an opportunity from the top of the box, and they were looking for it, and we just shut it down. Like it wasn't there. You know what I mean? I mean, between him and Will Hughes, I was very, very happy with how they manned the midfield as far as defensively and recycling play and get us the ball. Things like I thought they did great, honestly.
Yeah, and look, Ayew today for me was an improvement based on he caused Amrabat trouble. And I knew that would be the case as well. I expected, Ayew to win them fouls, make it uncomfortable, and he made Amrabat uncomfortable. Not only that, his tracking back was excellent as well. That was the one thing that was a massive shock for me in a cup game. Jordan Ayew not tracking back as good. I don't know what it was. Maybe as a team we just switched off. But today that was very decent. Eze, in terms of stats as well, he had 40 touches today. 65% passing accuracy, so not great, but 5 out of 9 ground duels won. He was trying to. I mean, he needs a bit of support as well, and at times he was isolated. Then again, he had 1 or 2 moments, as I said at the start of the show, where he could have put the ball in behind.
Where he could have put the ball in behind. Yep. Like it was that one where he could have if he would have just put it over to Mateta on the right.
Yeah. He's running towards the left, and Mateta was on the right, and Lindelof was trying.
It was just like just put it right in front of him.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about as well.
That was the one.
The thing about Ebbs is, that's what I'm saying. These games are like survival. I want us to pick up points, but it's about surviving. It's like the grit, because we have so many injuries. It's about picking up points whilst waiting for players to come back. Eze's performance will improve. Not that he had a bad game today. When Elise comes into the side,
and let's not forget, Eze got the assist for the goal.
Yeah,
that was Eze's assist. Like, you know what I mean? So.
Exactly, yeah, and I think he's missing Elise. When Elise comes back, that's what I'm saying. Attacking wise, would have caused a bit more threat to United today, because they're all vulnerable on the counter attack. For
sure. You have that other outlet player. You know what I mean? Like when you have that other guy that you can play off of and can play off of you, like it's just another level of freedom that he gets. You know what I mean? Because he gets so much attention right now. by being that main creative force for us in a lot of ways, So
Yeah. There's a question from CK who says, "Question: If France are played like a world-class player, do you drop I to the bench?" Well, I guess we can talk about it at a moment of time because I can't tell you right now. Because right now you don't drop IU. IU's been one of our most important players so far this season. With assists in terms of defensively going forward, I think he's had a fantastic start to the season. And for you to drop IU when you have Schlupp there would make it interesting. Then again, if it's all about Elise and France being available fit, we'll see it. France will get his opportunities coming off the bench, but he needs to earn it. And we'll see maybe defensively, is he good enough? There's so many question marks to be answered as well. But of course, if he's world-class defensively, like in terms of tracking back and attack, then yeah, I think Hodgson would play him. But it's too early to say it to you, right?
Yeah, it's definitely too early to say. I mean, he would have to come in and do some absolutely amazing things for us to, I think, have that line of thinking coming up. I mean, he's going to have some adjusting to do. This is going to be very different than what he had to do in Brazil, especially when we talk about tracking back and doing more defending. In our system, especially, it'll be a lot different, man. And I think if anything, what we'll see from him this season is going to be more of a super sub type of role, where you have that guy that you can bring off the bench and be a punch for us offensively. You know what I mean? Because if we have a guy like IU in and then we decide to bring him off and you bring in a guy like França, like that could be scary for some teams to have to deal with when guys are running around on tired legs and you got a kid like that can come in and be electric. So
yeah, I guess it depends on the circumstances, but I don't think that would be the worst case scenario as well for France, because when you look at Michael Elise and how he came to the Palace side, he was also slowly put into the team. He's not put in straight. I remember having conversations here. Why is IU starting? Elise should start. He doesn't have any attacking outlet. He slowly came in and he worked out in the end. So I think with France, it'll be a similar instance. But today, I agree with Tanner. Huge W. Dubs. Not point, but W. And trust me, we'll be soaking it in, doing everything with this win. And looking forward to the game against Forest as well. Why is it okay to hold Mateta from behind with both arms around him?
Because he's 6'4", because he's huge, and they never want to give the benefit to the big guys. Like,
but look, when our starting 11, when we have Lerma back, we have a very good starting 11, and injuries have played a part. I think we're still missing players in attack. We could have, improved the depth regardless of Elisa and France coming back. We could have still improved the depth there. We do have a very solid 11. I've always said that. I think the right back position is our weakness, and maybe, Edouard has started fantastically, but if Edouard didn't start fantastically, maybe we could have talked about another striker as well in terms of starting 11 positions. And we're not too far off it as well. Like today I was thinking about that whilst watching the game. We're not too far off. Lerma coming back. Edouard coming back to the side, which will, help with Mateta coming off the bench a bit more, and his game has improved there. Elise, of course, 11 assists last year, record breaker for Crystal Palace. When you have these players back, the defense shouldn't change. I have trust in Elise to track back, and I think that's one of his most underrated elements of his game. I remember for a while, that was a conversation. Oh, IU's playing because of his defensive duties. I'm not saying now drop IU for Elise, but Elise, when he has played, his defense has improved drastically. Slide tackle, tracking back. So if Elise brings that, as well as his dribbling ability to hit teams on the counter, this team will improve. And we haven't seen a strong Crystal Palace team yet. They're our strongest team that I personally think, because of injuries. And despite that, right now, as I said, wait till 10 games. But in the Premier League, we are sitting right now, I'll bring it up, 9th in the table. We're only, 4 points of Brighton, who are 6th.
Are we even on goal differential now?
Yeah, 0 on goal difference.
Yeah, we're even on goal differential now too.
We look, West Ham have milked their way through by playing football like that in terms of like hitting teams on the counter. And it can work if you have very good defensive duties, but defensive players. But you also need good counter-attacking players. And despite our weaknesses in attack, I think everyone can agree that we haven't got our strongest 11, especially going forward. We are getting results. We are going to Old Trafford and getting a clean sheet, which you could not expect, but you could
without
understand
a
why would
lot of players. We didn't have a lot of guys, and we went and got 3 points at Old Trafford. Like,
yeah,
for us to say you're going to go to Old Trafford, Crystal Palace, and you're going to get 3 points without Michael Elise, without Jefferson Lerma, without Otten Edward, like that's a lot for us to say. Like, man, I don't know. That's kind of without França, like without really good players to go in and get that decision. It's huge, man. It's one of those things. Like, I feel like with us, with getting healthy, it's like, you know, we have a really good start 11, but like when we're completely healthy, we have a good, like, I guess you would call it 11 plus. You know what I'm saying? Because you've got 2 to 3 really solid players that can come off of that bench and be difference makers. Not even to mention the fact that, like, we also don't have Naui Hamida right now either. You know? So,
yeah, exactly. I forgot about him, man. He actually had a very good preseason as well. Do you get it? Like, it's not like
so you're talking about multiple guys that can give us that 11 plus to be really strong and have some solid guys on the bench too that can make a difference in a match.
Gurev says Amrabat touched the ball 4 times. That's awful. There's no way he touched the ball 4 times. I think he's talking about handballs. He touched the ball 133 times.
I think he means he touched the ball with his hand 4 times.
Yeah. With his hand, yeah, he did. I mean, with his feet, 100. Well, it depends on how you calculate these touches, but with his feet/hand, 133 touches in total. But it wasn't as good as he was when, you know. Yeah. Well, I thought. Anyway.
I mean, it's different. It's different when you got a guy like Amrabat who is an international player, like who plays a lot, who's a very experienced seasoned player, have an opportunity to go up against a young guy like Jez Roxaki. Yes, he should have the advantage. He should play really well against a guy like Jez. But when you go out there and you go 90 minutes against a guy like Jordan Ayew, who's been around the block, who's an international player, who plays physical, who's smart. It's different. It's a different game, man. And you saw it out there. You saw that.
Yeah. And looking at our fixtures, I mean, past Forest, when we're talking about some of these attackers coming in, we're gonna wrap up in just a few minutes, people. But like it if you haven't already done so. Like the stream, enjoy it, soak it in. Let's get the likes up and subscribe if you're new here to not miss out on future Palace content. We're very close to 4,000 people, so share it, like it, tell your dog, whoever you want to tell. Let's reach this 4,000. Let's hit that 4K sooner rather than later. We've got Newcastle, so hopefully Elise France will be back for that game on the 21st of October after the Forest game. We've got Newcastle Tottenham, which is going to be 2 difficult games, but 2 games where you need his attacking plays to hit them on the counter, especially with the possession, the high line that they'll be playing. And then you got Burnley, Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth. Like in November to December, you basically have with Elise France and Lerma, or you know, all these other players. Hopefully they're back after the international break. You got them to, you know, have them game time against the likes of Newcastle and Tottenham, which the expectation, I guess, will be like a point due to how they're playing. And then afterwards, as they're building up that game fitness, they're going to have to, you know, hopefully be fit for those difficult run of games. I think nicely it sets them up as well. It's not like they're going to be facing the likes of Luton straight away in their first game. They're going to have a bit of time to get used to it. And hopefully by the time we face the likes of Everton, Luton, West Ham, Bournemouth, those games can decide whether we finish in the top 10 or push for the top 7. And by that time, we should have these players fit and ready to. So when you look at overall in the picture, a grander scheme of things, if things go to plan and there's no more setbacks, and we do manage to get a result against Forest, things are looking nice for us after an international break. But that's a big if against Forest, because as I said, I don't care if it's the 8th game of the season. These points do add up at the end of the season. Against Forest, I know some of you may disagree. We need to get a win. That's how I see it. We need to get a win. Of course, don't lose again, but we ideally need to get a win if we want to push up the table to, you know, make sure that we're racking up these points and we're going into, you know, the international break with that momentum as well. And T, when you look at them fixtures, as I mentioned, 2 difficult run of games after an international break, which we'll discuss, but it gives us that time to blend in some of these players as well. You can see the positives out of them 2 games.
Yeah, that's why I think getting this 3 points against Nottingham makes that much more. It's that much more important, because if you go into next weekend at home against them and you get those 3 points, and then you go into the break and we have those 2 really tough matches, the 3 points that we got that we can get from Nottingham really softens the blow of what may be the outcome of those 2 matches that you see against Newcastle and Tottenham. because then we then go into a run of matches after that where we could really pick up some points before the end of the calendar year, and then you can find yourself going into the new year really being in really solid place within the top 10, trying to really make some things happen.
Oh yeah, we play a late game, right? That works for
Yeah,
me.
we play
Quite right.
11. Well, it's 11:30 here. I
Yeah,
think, is
morning.
what
That's
time
late
it
for
is.
you, but it's 5:30 here. Yeah,
Yeah,
11:30 in the morning is
yeah.
like your late game.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the
We wake
late
up some
one.
crazy
Yeah.
early times to watch Palace play, man. Honestly, I
Yeah.
think about, I'm like, geez, some of the games that we've had in like the past years, like you woke up to watch that at like 6 a.m. Oh my days.
Oh no. Like lately it's been like ever since moving back to St. Louis, has been a lot better. Like 9 a.m. matches, for the most part, it's been great. When I was on the West Coast, when I was in Seattle, that was rough, man. Like that's when you're talking about, like, if we play the early game, I'm up at 4:30 in the morning trying to watch. You know what I'm saying? Like that was those were the rough times, man. Those are the rough times. Yeah.
Don't worry, we're gonna let you go now, T, because we're gonna wrap it up. But Ten Hag said, "I understand when you play Palace, you have to win with all respect. Mate, we're above you in the table with all respect." Yeah, well, I get what he's saying though. Like, you have to try to beat Palace, but I mean, yeah, I said the same thing. We should be going and trying to get a result against Man United because they're poor. So I can say the same thing as well, despite Man United being, the bigger club with better players. But yeah,
I mean, y'all tried to win, but it ain't work out. I mean, it is.
Yeah. And now on the reverse fixture, I'll be happy with a point. Well, depending on where Man United are then and where Palace are. But, it makes it even more just comfortable. Comfortable is what I'm feeling, people. And we got the win done. Thanks to every single one of you that's called in, that's left in your comments, that's liked, subscribed. This is why you're a Palace fan, for days like this. And so far,
this is why
as a bonus, so far, things are getting back to normal. I know we had a bit of a shaky thing in the cup, a bit of a meltdown, but this win was fantastic. And now, as I said, game at time, get this momentum, carry it into the Forest game, and attack them. Try and get the win before the international break. But thanks to every single one of you. Thanks to T as well. We'll be back next week or maybe tomorrow, talking about all things related to Palace. Like, subscribe, and until next time, up the Palace.
Up the Palace.